On today's Locked On Mavericks, Isaac and I are doing one of our favorite games, Grade Your Take. Bring the spice.
Which avatar is better? Coming up next.
Does Isaac even know what an avatar is?
No.
It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Hey, Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good! And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and coordinator for the Locked On Podcast Network. And joining me, as always, my co-host, contributor at Mavs.com. Bring that same energy, Ed. The One More Thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Bring that same energy. remember when Chris Mannix tweeted at me and was like, yeah, it was like, bring that same Twitter energy. Like, all right. Let's talk about energy, Chris Mannix. Man, yeah, well, today's fun. I mean, this is, we have 2 days off between game 4, game 5. Mavericks were off yesterday as they, chilled before they traveled to LA. They get a practice in today. If you listen to this on Tuesday, practice today in LA. And should get another update on Luka, as Woj tweeted out today that Luka is improved already yesterday, so that's at least a good sign. So hopefully Rick Carlisle shed some more light on that, and we have good positive news that comes out today before game 5 tomorrow.
Yep, didn't hear from the Mavs at all on Monday, so we didn't have practice or anything like that to hear from them. So hopefully Tuesday today we'll hear a little bit more about them. But yeah, this episode is brought to you by Locker Room. Download the app and join us anytime during the week. Follow me at Nick Van Exit, and you'll get notified when we go live. Locker Room, changing the way we talk sports. On today's show, we are going to grade your take. It's one of our favorite games where we're going to give you a grade. I think it's going to be a letter grade. Normally, our grading system just goes all over the place. Like, we would not be certified in the state of Texas to grade anything by the way that we grade these takes, because it's always like on a curve and there's always different like reasons for it. Are we grading based on legitimacy? Are we grading based on how much we liked it? But we're going to grade your take. Isaac, are we doing on a scale of A to F? And is it on realism or is it on how much we liked it?
We should have talked about this. Let's do.
So I'm putting you on the spot.
Let's do A to F, and then it'll be like if it's true or not. A being it's 100% true, that's happening. F means it's a fantasy.
That's how we're gonna do it.
It's not happening.
F for falsehood. It's a falsehood. A for absolutely gonna happen. F for falsehood. Somewhere in the middle. B for barely gonna happen, C for can't tell, and D for don't think so, right? Like there you go. That's the thing. So put this out on Twitter. A bunch of people came out. One of them is one of our friends from the Locked On Podcast Network, Koo Cahill. Koo came in and said he's stealing this idea. So shout out to Koo. He's gonna steal this idea.
Are you drinking the Kool-Aid? But
here's his take, and I think it's an important one, especially after game 4. KP is completely capable of still being Luka's number 2, despite his play in the playoffs thus far. Ooh, this has layers to it, right? Like, we can't just look at this and say, okay, he can be his number 2. Sure, yeah, A, right? Like, he can be his number 2. But what does that mean, right? What does it mean for him to be the number 2 player?
Yes.
Number 2 to do what, right? Like... to win 50 games? Yeah, they've done that, right? Like they were on 50 win pace.
I'm glad this is not a yes or no question.
It's an A, B, C, D, E, and F.
So I can ride the line on this and say C.
No, come on. All right, to win a title. Let's qualify it in that way.
C.
I'm gonna say D.
No, I'm not confident in it right now. And
right, I don't think so.
Yeah, and a lot of it's just mobility, being able to switch. So much of what's happening right now is, when you keep a big out there like KP and you have Kawhi that's working, it's like you can't double Kawhi then you have to rotate so quick. And he just can't rotate right now. So the thing is, I even caught myself saying right now. When I say right now, what does that mean? Or should I say he can't rotate anymore? Like that's the thing like you have to ask going forward. Is it just a right now thing? Is he still getting over some stuff and then bam, off season, he's good to go? Or is that just who he is right now moving forward? And that's what, I mean, I think a lot of Mavs fans, they're just scared about right now. It's like, man, if this is it, if this is where he's at right now, is where he's going to be for the next years to come, then the answer is no. It's D.
Don't think so.
Yeah.
Don't think so. Yeah. An offseason, I think, is going to do really well. We mentioned at the beginning of the playoffs, I think, that KP still hasn't had a full offseason with the Mavs. So maybe like after next season, but at that point, like, I don't know if the Mavs can wait that long to try and decide if these two are going to work. The timeline just moves so fast. So yeah, I'm going to go D. Don't think so on that one if we're grading this take. Give me one of yours.
Yeah, so this one we'll just stay on. I mean, we got a lot of KP stuff on this, and I mean, expected whenever you talk about the Mavericks and takes and future for the Mavs. But
let's stay on KP.
Yeah, 627 Zach says the Mavs may have to take a step back in the immediate future by trading KP in order to set up for a bigger, brighter future with more roster flexibility for Luka's prime long term. Zach, that's an incredible question because I think that's one of the biggest dilemmas that Dallas walks into the offseason with. No, kind of no matter what happens, just because, like, if you trade KP, his value is not incredible. Like somebody respond, I'll loop this one. Somebody responded and said, "What if you trade KP to Boston for Jaylen Brown?"
That would be great.
Sorry, guys, that's just not happening. Like Jaylen Brown's
though.
Yeah. So that's his trade value is not super high right now. So if you do trade KP in this offseason, you're not going to get, a lot of people will probably look at me like, man, that's all they got for him. And it might mean taking a step back if that's the case. But even there's a lot of layers to that of if Dallas progresses in the play, let's say they beat the Clippers and let's say Rick does make a change and Porzingis is not playing in the fourth and they, beat the Clippers, they go and play the Jazz and they kind of show that, hey, they're kind of winning without him, then it kind of lessens the pressure a little bit of like what if they do entertain a trade in the offseason, it lessens the pressure of like what you get back because you proved in the playoffs that you can win without him in a way.
We'll also get less than if he actually participates and does well in the playoffs.
True. So that's a great question from Zach because I think and we don't really know because we don't know where, front office, we don't know how Luka's feeling. Is Luka, going into the offseason saying, all right, yeah, I'll do, because a lot of people threw out the Golden State thing last summer, right?
Yeah, right.
It's like James Wiseman, draft pick, whatever.
Wiggins.
If you did it like that you're 100% going backwards. So, but you're going backwards, but maybe in a couple of years, it means you going forward. And it's just about timing at that point. And is Luka willing to wait on that? So there's just a lot of moving parts in that. But that was a great question, Zach.
So, no, but the actual take though is the Mavs have to trade Porzingis in order to take and they'll have to take a step back in order to take a step forward, right? Like that's the full take.
Well, he just said the Mavs may have to take a step back if it means for a brighter future.
That's bad on you. That's not a good take. You can't just say we can't grade a take that says they may have to do this or they.
It was a good question. It was a good thought.
This isn't a mailbag. This is
I
a
know it's
take.
not a mailbag. Whatever.
It is a good concept though.
I don't know how to properly grade it though, because I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I honestly don't know if they do trade KP right now this offseason and let's just hypothetical. They get Miles Turner and something else back from Indiana. You're like, all right, but a lot of people would be like, man, that's a lower return. But are we sure it's a step back? Like, are we 100% that's a step back because Luka is so good? And that's the type of thing we just don't know yet. And then when you see KP at his peak, you're like, well, dang it. Like, that's what we need.
Yeah, but the last time I saw that was the bubble, and then he got hurt and has not looked like that at all this season.
True.
So I'm going to say B, basically true.
I'm going to say C.
To win a title, you've gone C on both now.
I think it is a C just because I don't know what it. Okay, let's just say this. You would have to look at it and say, this is the trade packages on the table. Are you willing to do this to go? And it's like a clear, all right, we're going backwards next year, but there's a piece or two in that means in a couple years or flexibility that's for sure. We can
like a contingency in KP's contract that would have said he had to make play an X amount of games in order to get this salary. Man, that'd be nice right now.
Dang.
All right, coming up, bunch more takes we got to get into. We did 2 takes in our first segment. We're going to try to do rapid fire a little bit in segment 3 and get through a bunch more of your guys' takes. So we'll get into that. More stuff about KP, all that. We'll get into that. But coming up, let's talk about Locker Room. Locker Room is changed the way we talk about sports. Love going on Locker Room, talking to people, hearing what people think. They always have a post game for SB Nation for the Mavs. There's a good group of Mavs fans on there that you can talk to. You can also talk to us on there. You can just download the app on your Apple Podcast on your iOS device. I think they also have Android beta. You can download it right now and you can join the conversation. You can just join the chat if you want and lurk and hang out in the room, or you can actually try to get on stage, request to speak, and you can speak to us or any of the other users that use it. Be sure to join us this week. We usually go Thursdays. Sometimes it's been game days. We'll see which day we go this week. Go download the free Locker Room app available on iOS devices. Be sure to create a profile, link your Twitter, and follow me at Nick Van Exit. You'll be notified whenever we go live. Locker Room, changing the way we talk sports. Also want to tell you about rockauto.com. With the ever-increasing number of makes and models of cars, there's so many different places you can get parts for cars. You have to know exactly what you're getting, and rockauto.com will get it to you, and they'll do it at a price that's lower than everyone else. They have everything from engine control modules, brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, even new carpet for your car. You spill something, you can't clean it up, you try and try and try, or you burn something in your carpet. That's the worst. If you burn a carpet and then all of a sudden you just have this big burn mark in the middle of it. Not sure how you're burning your carpet in your car, but if you do, rockauto.com has that for you. Go to rockauto.com right now. See all the parts available for your car or truck. Write Locked On in there. How did you hear about us box? And they know that we sent you. Again, I have everything for you. Their catalog is unique and remarkably easy to navigate. You can quickly see all the parts available for your car or truck. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into some more takes here. We're grading your take on a scale of A to F. A being absolutely true, F being a falsehood, and somewhere in the middle, C is where Isaac Harris lies. All right, here's another one I got for you.
I'm ready.
Matt T comes in hot. Not only does Porzingis get traded this summer, so this is more of a prediction, I guess, than a take, but we'll grade it anyway. He's going to be the one to come out and ask for the trade. Whoo! So Porzingis gets traded, and he's the one that's going to come in.
Any heads up on these?
No. Do we think KP's the one that's going to come out and ask for one? Man, it's interesting. We've talked about all the different ways that he's thinks that he's not being used correctly and all that, or he's frustrated with his role. He wants to be the man. He's not going to be it here. Doesn't seem like he's filing into that number 2. On the court, he's fine. We haven't seen a ton of him being frustrated on the court and doing stuff like he's not Kevin Loving out there, right? Like he's not Kevin Love smacking the ball away or anything like that. But I think it does seem like he wants to be somewhere else. But that's just from the outsider's perspective.
I'll say B. I'll just say B. I'm not going to expand or anything.
Basically true. Isaac Harris comes out and said that not only does Porzingis get traded, he's going to be... Okay, here's one. If Porzingis gets traded, it's because he asked for it.
B.
Okay, but then there's more likely of a chance that if he's going to get traded, that he's the one asking for it than the Mavericks just go out of their way to make a trade for him, which that's kind of the way I lean. B. Because all right, there you go. All right, give me one of yours.
Okay, this was a spicy take. Dylan Blankenship says Cane's is greater than Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
I thought about it because a lot of it comes down to the sauce, right? We have Cane sauce, Chick-fil-A sauce. Chick-fil-A sauce. Did you know that the little Chick-fil-A sauce packet is 140 calories?
Oh, yes.
That is more than 95 calories because today on the road to the finals, our NBA playoffs or finals, our coverage is brought to you by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it at 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. We can all enjoy the games a little bit more this season. So Cane's and Chick-fil-A.
We have done over 1,000 episodes. I have read near 99% of the ads, and Isaac has one job now. It's to read this line, and he has done it better than I've done all those other ads combined. I'm embarrassed for myself.
Here's the thing. I lean Chick-fil-A. I eat Chick-fil-A the most out of them. It's a great question because if I had to pick two fast food places I eat the most, I would say these are the two. And I love both of their fries. I think it's just the combination of being able to get like the grilled nuggets at Chick-fil-A. There's just a couple different things I'll get at Chick-fil-A. I think I lean Chick-fil-A over Cane's.
Nah, get out of here with your grilled nuggets.
I love
if we're comparing
healthy.
Chick-fil-A and Cane's, you have to compare the like things, right? So you have to compare. You can't compare like, okay, well, Cane's has a sandwich and Chick-fil-A has a sandwich. Well, the Chick-fil-A sandwich is way better than the Cane's sandwich.
True, but I get like
the Chick-fil-A sandwich is way better than Cane. I probably said that.
But like the Cane box of like the tenders and everything, it's like throw that coleslaw crap out of there, get an extra.
Whoever
Cane
gets
sauce
coleslaw, get out of here. Give me an extra
get out
sauce.
of here. Just stop listening to the podcast now. Just kidding. Keep on listening. Listen helps. And the Texas toast too. But even though that's carbs and I don't know,
if we're talking about Chick-fil-A versus Cane's, the carbs is out of the question, right? At 2.6 carbs. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, no,
carbs
because
are out of the question.
There's a healthier like Chick-fil-A meal I'll get like grilled nuggets, some fruit, diet lemonade. That's a little lower on the carbs, but I don't think I'm getting at it.
Do you enjoy it? Do you eat it because you're happy, or are you happy because you eat it?
That's not part of the ad read, Nick.
I think Cane's is better than Chick-fil-A. I love Cane's so much. I love the Texas toast. The sauce is better for me. I love it. And I can't get it here in Florida. So that's probably why.
Cane's or Chick-fil-A?
That's probably why. My wife would
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, my wife would say Chick-fil-A as well, but hey. The take was Cane's over Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, I'll say D on that. Even that hurts my heart. If it's literally anything else, I would say that's.
I'm gonna say B. Basically true. Basically true.
Yeah, I also say Chick-fil-A doesn't like affect my digestive system, kind of like Cane's sometimes. And
Cane's is an experience. You have to go out of your way.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get Cane's on a road trip.
Well, it's hard to eat. It's hard to eat with the sauce and everything.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. There you go. That's your take. All right, here's one from Zach. This one is just completely out there. When Luka's career is all said and done, he'll be a top 5 player in NBA history.
Wow. Well, if he's top 5, it means he's over LeBron. So that's just kidding, guys. Calm down.
That would be an F on your part. That's it. Top 5. That means he's in there with Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, like Kobe,
Wilt, Russell. I don't
Russell
have Kobe in top 5, but man, that's tough. It's just so hard. Like, I think he'll have all the stats. I think he'll have all of that. It's just so hard to predict title stuff because so much is just determined on your supporting cast. And it's like you look at all of those guys at the top there, and it's like Jordan, LeBron.
Wilt has
Magic.
2 titles. That's it, right? He got one with. Yeah. So unless you're Wilt, right? Like unless you're Wilt freaking Chamberlain and your stats are just absolutely insane, you have to get 5 titles, right? Like to be up there.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's hard to tell at this point. But because if you're not, then all of a sudden you're in that next tier of like, guys that were super good but didn't get all the titles.
But he's on the path already that he's going to be up there in all these crazy numbers. Like he's going to pass, Westbrook's, triple double thing. He's going to be up there in points when it's all said and done. He's going to have all of that. It's just all of it hinges on titles, and it's so hard to predict
health,
titles.
Of course.
Yeah. And health for sure. And it's hard to predict that. And if they went, let's just say they went and got Giannis this offseason, and you're like, or like he was going to be, like whatever. And it worked out and he got Giannis, and you're like, oh, okay. Now I'd be much more calm. Like, yeah. I think he could finish top 5 for sure. But passing one of those 5 is going to be hard without 4 or 5 titles.
What does he have to do to pass Durant? Because Durant's going to be like top 10, right? Like, or he's going to be up there.
Well, I mean, if he continues down this path on everything, and let's say wins like 3 titles, I think he'll be on that same type of level. The thing that helps Luka too is, all of his, previous experience in Europe of he can walk in, and if he has this like crazy career in the NBA and wins 4 or 5 titles, and he has all the European, accolades too, it's like, whoa, okay. Like that's a whole different, ball game. Because I know we don't talk about it a ton, but when you talk about like Kareem and some of these guys, it's like, man, look at like some of their stuff in college. And that's fun to at least take into account a little bit of their career, and Europe playing into Luka's yeah, it will be.
Yeah, true.
wild.
If you do it basketball Hall of Fame style, right, instead of
Yeah.
just NBA. Yeah, interesting. So is Luka's gonna be top 5 all time? Man, I'm gonna say D. Just the odds are so against it, right? Like, I don't think so. The odds are much against it because you have to get the amount of titles. He has to stay healthy, all that kind of stuff.
Since Jordan, who has cracked that even conversation?
LeBron,
Just LeBron, and it's like
Kobe has been in the conversation.
Kobe kind of. Tim Duncan,
He's been in it. He's been in the conversation.
He's been in it, but he's not top.
You do this thing where you don't think that somebody is there, so you're like, they're not in the conversation. They are.
I just
Kobe
don't think
and Duncan have both been in there.
Yeah, I just don't think like how much how I feel about LeBron. I just think LeBron's at a different level than Kobe and Duncan.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I think they're top 10, but so I think it's better. Like I'm comfortable saying I think Luka will finish as a top 20 player of all time.
Which is insane.
Yeah, which is absolutely insane.
Because we haven't even mentioned Magic or Bird, or,
yeah, I think
Hakeem or like
top 5 is like you have to. It's like what we said. I mean, since Jordan, who is in that? I mean, 3 players in the past 20 years. So Luka definitely could be that guy. So
he's on his way. The odds are stacked against him though, but
he's on his way for sure.
Dude's 22. Like, how many of those guys in the top 20 were 22 when they entered the NBA? Right, like.
And it's so hard to predict it without seeing like he's not on a team right now surrounded by a couple young stars that you're like, that's the core that's going to be around them for the next like
years.
Is
he not? Did we talk about that in the first segment? I think we did.
Josh Green, does that count?
All right, coming up, we're going to rapid fire. Isaac and I are going to go back and forth on these takes, get through as many of them as we possibly can. We'll get into that. But before we do, let's talk about BetOnline. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to put some money down on sports. Let's go check BetOnline right now. If you're watching on YouTube, we always like to check this every single day to see who is favored at the moment. Right now, Clippers minus 405 favorite, back to where it was when the series began. So series is even 2-2. Clippers are now the overwhelming favorite. But not so much as the Hawks. The Hawks are a 12.50 favorite over the Knicks in this series. That one is pretty wild. They are up 3-1. So the Suns are now the favorite in the series against the Lakers because the Anthony Davis injury and all that. If you think the Anthony Davis
I would cry
injury
if they beat the Lakers
is bogus, then you can go and put some money down on the Lakers. They have positive odds right now. Or positive odds? Yeah, they're not favored right now. Blazers are favored in the series against the Nuggets now, minus 135. So go check it out. Use the promo code LOCKEDON. Get a 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Also want to tell you about Indeed. Indeed makes it easier for anyone hiring to get the candidates that you want for your job. Get your quality shortlist of candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description faster. Only pay for the candidates that have your must-have qualifications. So you put different qualifications on there. Only the ones that qualify will be given to you, and those are the only ones you pay for. That's exactly what you want. You get what you pay for, and you pay for what you want. Indeed makes connecting with and hiring the right talent fast and easy with tools like Indeed Instant Match, giving you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed fit your job description immediately. That reduces hiring time by 27%. Also, according to Talent Nest, Indeed delivers 4 times more hires than other job sites combined. If you're hiring, you need Indeed. Get started right now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/locked. Get a $75 job credit at Indeed.com/locked. Indeed.com/locked. Offer valid through June 30th. Terms and conditions apply. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into some more. Let's go rapid fire on some of these takes. Let's go rapid fire. By forcing KP possessions, this is from Jonathan, we take others out of the rhythm, thus why we've lost the last two games. KP shots need to flow naturally in the offense and not forced to win. So basically the take is the Mavericks can't force KP's possessions if they want to win.
Yeah, I'll go with A.
I think that's A too. I just think that you can't mess around at this point in the season, right? If they had built it into the season and they had done to the certain point and KP was firing on all cylinders, but even when they're forcing these possessions, they're not necessarily quality possessions. So get a couple of those jumpers every once in a while, but I don't think it's that efficient offense. So yeah, I'm going to go A with that one.
Yeah, it feels like a Jokic Embiid type situation. You're like, oh, guaranteed mismatch, clear it out, dump it down.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's just not right now. It's like kind of like Portland trying to like force Carmelo or something. I got one. We would have had a better record if we drafted Desmond Bane instead of Josh Green. I'm going with F on this, mainly because I just don't think Rick would have played him. Like,
Yeah,
that's my only thing. I don't think that a rookie and like Desmond Bane is getting all these minutes in Memphis because they're just in a different, like, I get they're in the playoffs, but yeah, and Rick would just wouldn't. I'm not confident he would have gotten minutes.
I'm gonna go A to flip completely the opposite direction. Odds are Rick probably wouldn't have played him, but I think his shot would have forced Rick's hand a little bit because
who's he playing over?
When Richardson wasn't hitting, and when when all those guys were out, I think he would have found a way. Like remember when Wes Iwundu was starting all these games, I think Bane would have found a way to start ahead of him.
I remember.
Should I show them our names still on this? But I think he would have found a way in there, and then his shooting would have kept him in, because that's the whole thing with Josh Green is that he does all these other things. He passes well, plays defense, he gets on loose balls. He can't shoot. He can't shoot right now, and you have to be able to shoot on this Mavericks team because you can't be sagging off of a wing player, right? You can't have the defense doing that. So I'm going to say A. They would have had a better record, and I think he would be playing.
Interesting. Okay.
That's my thought. This is from Chris. Any man caught in public wearing sandals or flip-flops should receive corporal punishment and a fine. Nobody trying to see that.
F.
You can't wear. You like guys wearing sandals or flip-flops?
I don't like flip-flops, but I'll wear some slides in public.
Does that count? Because I don't count that.
Oh.
I count like open-toed, looking at your toes, sandals.
Okay. All right. Well, we got.
Because he said sandals or flip-flops.
Do Chacos count? Because I have some Chacos.
I don't know.
If he's talking like the Jesus sandals, nah, I'm out. See ya. But if Chacos or like especially slides are counted, I'm giving it an F. I'll rock some slides.
Interesting.
From Christopher, says the Mavs' primary free agent target should be DeMar DeRozan this offseason.
Primary is an interesting word to use in that one.
Yeah. Primary, no. So I'll go with D on that. I've had the DeRozan conversation with a couple media people over the past few weeks, and I just go back to the same thing of if you could guarantee me DeRozan could come off the bench in the 6-man role, sign me up. He's too good for that. And a team's going to pay him to not be that. And I'm just not like, if you're going to have somebody on the floor with Luka that can't shoot, like from the outside, I feel like it has to be a roller. And I just don't know what DeRozan is doing while Luka's isoing or driving. I love the idea of having someone else who can create a shot. This is what we want, but he just doesn't shoot threes. And if he's on the floor with Luka, they're just going to leave him open every single time.
The difference between him and LaVine is the 3-point shot.
LaVine can shoot the heck out of the ball.
I would much rather have LaVine as a primary target than DeRozan, which may say what I think about DeRozan. But so I'm going to go F on this one because DeRozan is a floor raiser. The Mavs need a ceiling raiser. They need somebody that can take them to that next level. And the guy that does not shoot threes and probably cannot shoot threes and that doesn't defend at an elite level or even at a good level for that matter.
Yeah,
that guy can't be the primary target. You can't spend $20 million on a guy like that when they're having issues with KP right now. He's sort of should be a ceiling raiser, but he's kind of just a floor raiser because of the spacing, and that's sort of it right now. So you can't do that with both. Now, if he's the only guy left, sure, go for it and see what he can bring. But yeah, no, that's an F for me. All right, here's one. This is from Bibbs. A lot of likes on this one.
Oh, Bibbs, let's go, Bibbs.
I don't know if you're gonna be saying that after this take.
Oh,
Donnie Nelson
no.
should be replaced as the GM of the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, God. Bibbs
coming in hot. All right, this is what I'm going to say to this, and this is not going to be popular. F. Absolutely F. No. He not only did he draft Luka Doncic, he went up and got Luka Doncic. Like that. Like, think about what the Kings have been through over the last 20 years of not making the playoffs. Think about what the Knicks have been through. All their missed draft picks and all that. RJ Barrett may turn out to be a pretty good player, but just the misses on superstars that could get. Think about the Orlando Magic. Look back at all these drafts they've been through and think about all the misses that they've had in the draft. And Donnie Nelson goes up and gets Luka Doncic. Like that to me has jobs, like just doing that move gives you job security. I don't care what he did with a random 2021 like number 18 draft pick, right? He picked the wrong guy between Josh Green and Desmond Bane. That's not making or breaking you. He took a chance on Josh Richardson and it hasn't worked out so far. Like, that is an ancillary move compared to the foundational move of going and getting Luka Doncic. That gives you a pass because you made that move. And not just it gives you a pass, like all the other stuff is so bad, but it outweighs anything else because he went and made that move. Like, without him, the Mavericks maybe not have done that.
Yeah, it's kind of like winning the Super Bowl in football. It's like it buys you time, right? It's like you're not going to be, winning the Super Bowl is getting Luka Doncic. And yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think think of the best way to work. I don't think on my list of the priorities or the list of things that could possibly need changing, Donnie is not in the top few of that. And yeah, Donnie's just my least person that I am like worried about in this scenario, or like think that needs some changing around in that. And I'm just going to leave that at that.
The other thing isn't he president of basketball operations?
Yeah.
He's not GM, so hey. If we want to get real particular on this, then yes, he should, because he's not the general manager at this point.
Do you have any more? I have some other ones, but they're not like fun though. I mean, some Avatar ones, but I mean, we all know it's trash. So,
our friend Mavs Draft Richard says Carlisle shouldn't be under heat for the last 2 games.
Not 2 games ago, but I think he deserves a little bit of heat for the last one. And I just didn't think he adjusted. I think a lot of what we criticized Ty Lue for in that, in game 2 of taking so long to adjust, that I almost I have to at least stay true to that and be like, all right, well, it didn't feel like Rick adjusted. Boban was his adjustment. And I just keep on waiting. We're going to talk on tomorrow's pod about what adjustments they could, have going into game 5, more and digging deeper into that. But they just, I thought he would go small earlier. And especially when he started the second half with the same starting unit.
Yep.
I looked at the person next to me and we're like, oh, okay.
It depends on what you mean by heat, right? Like game 4, absolutely. He should be taking all the heat and all the blame, basically, right? Like for that game, because if your offense is that bad, you got to do something different. You have to try something else. And all he tried, it seems, was Boban. That was kind of and Trey Burke for like a shift, right? Yeah. Those are his moves, and those are not good enough moves to do that. All right, last one. This is from Jeff.
What up, Jeff?
Polar bears are the superior bear.
Oh, hey, let's go.
Polar bears?
All day. Jeff, DM me, bro. Let's bond over polar bears. I love polar bears.
What's better about a polar bear than a panda?
Because they like cold weather.
What? I
love cold weather. I just love polar bears. For some reason, when I was a kid, that used to be my pick of like my favorite animal. I thought they looked like their little cubs are the cutest looking little cubs. I will say panda is underrated because my mind immediately goes to like a grizzly bear or something like that.
Yeah, black bear.
Yeah, out in the like wild. But I don't know. Now I think about it, I feel like I like all bears.
Bears. Beats. Battlestar Galactica. Locked on Mavs. There you go. That's great. Your take. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back with adjustments on tomorrow's show. And go listen to Locked On Today, wherever you listen to podcasts. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.